In this video, I will discuss application security testing and its four techniques, that is static application security testing, dynamic application security testing, interactive application security testing, and runtime application security testing. Now, uh, once we develop an application, we follow secure coding practices, and this approach is preventive, and in this way we can find and fix any application bugs or coding bugs. However, there are certain challenges, that is, if the legacy code is vulnerable or any new exploit which appears from time to time. So even after performing secure coding practices, you cannot be sure that your application won't be vulnerable. Therefore, you have to continuously perform vulnerability assessment. And application security testing is part of that process. So you have to adopt multiple testing techniques because the application components may vary, or the tools which an organization uses to develop an application may vary, or also the knowledge and maturity level of different organizations. Now these are four techniques, that is static, dynamic, interactive, and runtime application security testing. So first of all, static application security testing, it evaluates the source code or the non-running applications. So one advantage is that it can become uh, in the workflow of, or the part of developer workflow. It means that once a developer uses an integrated development environment to develop his code, then automated testing is performed once he compiles this code using this IDE. So during this compilation process, a security testing of the code is performed, uh, and the feedback is provided to the developer to fix any bugs. Furthermore, since we perform it on the source code, not in on the application in any production environment, so there is no effect on production, since application has not gone to the production environment yet. Now there are certain limitations of static application security testing. First of all, it is language specific, and furthermore, the non-developer security officers cannot assess uh, the code, so it requires development knowledge of a specific language in which that application is developed. Furthermore, since it is static, therefore runtime exploits are undetected. For example, the exploits which are related to the interfacing between the application which you have developed and the operating system in which you are going to use that or deploy that application. So since you have not deployed the application, so these or such exploits remains undetected. Then similarly, the application programming interfaces related exploits are also undetected, since you have not performed any integration with any other system or application. So static application security testing is performed on the source code and not the code or the application which is deployed in the production environment. Now next is the dynamic application security testing, and as the name reflects that you execute the application and then you detect the runtime exploits. So the limitations of static application security testing are covered here. For example, the API or application programming interfaces related exploits are detectable, and furthermore, it is the language independent, and also the integrated development environment doesn't affect it since the code has already been compiled and deployed. Furthermore, it is easy for the non-developers to carry out dynamic application security testing. Now, the continuous integration and continuous development pipelining tools can perform this dynamic application security testing in an automated manner. So whenever these tools will be used to push the code to the testing environment, then the dynamic application security testing scan would run, and if it finds any flaws in the dynamic or runtime code, then these flaws are communicated to the developer in the form of automated ticketing systems, and then the developer would fix those flaws. So there are certain limitations of dynamic application security testing. So first of all, uh, sometimes the correct developer who has developed the actual application is not informed of the flaws, and another developer is informed and he is working on that and trying to fix that issue. Secondly, it is a detective mechanism since the application has already been pushed in the production environment and is working or operational in the production environment. Whereas in static application security testing, application is tested before it is deployed in the production environment. So since you are testing the application which is deployed, therefore there could be a performance degradation issues in the production environment. So overall, you induct a flawed software in the production environment and then you are performing this dynamic application security testing. So these flaws could be exploited since they till they are fixed. They are detected and fixed by the developers. So these are certain limitations of dynamic application security testing. Now coming over to interactive application security testing, it is mixture of static application security testing, dynamic application security testing, and pen testing. So it uses machine learning and complex algorithms, and basically you correlate uh, the findings of static application testing with dynamic application security testing. So you can figure out that how many flaws which you have detected in uh, source code were uh, not fixed and they were pushed till production, and now same are detected by dynamic application security testing. So you can correlate the findings of both the tests. Furthermore, it can be integrated automatically into continuous integration and continuous delivery pipelining tools. In a way that it can be integrated with integrated development environments in which you are developing the application, and also the security tools. So any bug which is reported by IDs during the process of static application security testing can be reported to security tools to fix. So furthermore, as I have already mentioned, that you can correlate the findings of static application security testing and dynamic application security testing. So the testing efforts and their results can be correlated. So there are certain limitation of interactive application security testing. First of all, it is very costly since this is a new technology. Therefore, it also lacks the experts in the market. And furthermore, it has the limitations of static application security testing and also the dynamic application security testing. So with regards to static application security testing, it has language dependencies, and since it is a new technology, therefore it may have limited support for different languages. And since it is also performed in production environment, therefore it can cause performance issues due to dynamic application security testing in the production environment. So interactive application security testing is mixture of uh, static and dynamic application security testing. The last one is runtime application security testing. So it is application is tested as it is run. So it is not a complete application security testing. Rather, it complements static and dynamic application security testing to monitor any unusual behavior of application and then apply corrective actions automatically. So in runtime application security testing, the automation of corrective action is very prominent. For example, it can block the request or the functions which are behaving in an abnormal way. So it can actively remediate the cyber attacks, and it can apply corrective or preventive action. For example, deploying of patches in an application before these patches are or the related vulnerabilities are exploited by the hacker. Now there are certain limitations. As with all automated reactive technologies, there is a risk of false positives, and these false positives can cause self denial of service attack on the application. For example, you can block the legitimate traffic to an application. And furthermore, since it can have compatibility issues, and since this is a new technology, and also there is a skill gap in the market. So if I have to summarize application security testing techniques, so static would perform on static code, the dynamic would be performed while the application is pushed into the production environment and is now working. And interactive is the mixture of static and dynamic. And then the runtime is related to the monitoring of bugs, and then automated preventive or corrective actions. So this was all. Thank you.